In just a few days, hundreds of thousands of people dressed in orange will fill the stands of a small circuit by the sea. They will chant a single name. They will wave a single color. And without realizing it, they will be saying goodbye to much more than a race. Because what's about to happen at Zandvoort isn't just the end of a Grand Prix. It's the end of an entire era. And the truth behind this farewell is far harsher than Formula One wants to admit. Stop for a moment and listen closely, because this story has a side that no one dares to say out loud. The Dutch Grand Prix, Max Verstappen's home race, will disappear from the calendar after this season. It will vanish. Forever. And the timing chosen for this farewell is no coincidence. In fact, it's the cruelest part of the whole story. Before continuing, do me a quick favor. Subscribe to the channel and write in the comments a single word, gratitude or injustice, so I'll know how you're experiencing this farewell too. Now let me explain why this isn't a simple ending, but something far deeper. Let's go in order, because to understand the weight of this farewell, you need to understand how it all began. For decades, Formula One didn't set foot in the Netherlands. The Zandvoort circuit was a memory of the past, a forgotten gem by the sea. Then he arrived. A Dutch kid who won, who dominated, who electrified an entire country. And suddenly, driven by an unprecedented orange tide, Formula One returned to Zandvoort. In 2021, the gates reopened. And the credit, practically all the credit, belonged to one man, Max Verstappen. I'm not the only one saying it. Even Bernie Ecclestone, one of the most powerful men in the history of this sport, said it without mincing words. Without Verstappen, modern Zandvoort would never have existed. Period. The circuit was reborn thanks to him, lived on thanks to him, and became a celebration thanks to him. Every packed grandstand, every cloud of orange smoke, every attendance record carried the same name engraved on it. And for a while, it was a perfect dream. Verstappen won in 2021 in front of his crowd gone wild, in the thick of the title fight. He won again in 2022, and then again in 2023, surviving the rain, the safety cars, the total chaos to complete a historic hat trick at home. 3 wins in a row in his temple. It seemed like a fairy tale destined never to end. The king, his castle, his people, all perfect, and whoever was there on those days will never forget it. The roar of the engines blending with the roar of hundreds of thousands of throats. The banked corners, unique in the world, that seemed built on purpose to make the crowd explode. The sky covered in orange smoke at every overtake by their idol. It wasn't just a race. It was a ceremony, a collective ritual in which an entire country gathered around its hero. In those moments, Zandvoort wasn't a circuit. It was the center of the world, and it seemed impossible that it would end. But fairy tales in Formula One always end. And here comes the part that hurts. Because now, let's rewind to today. Look at the condition Max Verstappen arrives in for this last great farewell. He's not arriving as the dominator. He's not arriving as the favorite. He's arriving in 6th place in the standings. He's arriving without having won a single race all season. The king who had won every time at home now returns to his temple empty-handed, chasing rivals who, until yesterday, looked up at him from below. And the contrast is almost unbearable. While he struggles, a 19-year-old dominates the championship. While he chases, others celebrate. The car that once made him unbeatable now betrays him corner after corner. The new regulations have frustrated him to the point of openly talking more than once about a possible retirement. The phenomenon that seemed eternal suddenly seems like a tired man. And this very tired man must get into the car in front of a people who worship him, knowing this could be the last time they see him fight at home. Imagine the weight on his shoulders. Imagine what he must feel inside that helmet as he bids farewell to everything he's built. Stop and let this image sink in. The same man who brought Formula One back to the Netherlands, who filled those grandstands for years, who made an entire country dream, now shows up for his last home dance without a single victory to his name. And the track that was born out of his glory is leaving right as his glory begins to fade. Does that seem like a coincidence to you? To me, it seems terribly symbolic. And this is the harsh truth that few dare to say. Zandvoort isn't leaving despite Verstappen. It's leaving together with Verstappen, together with his era. The race was born when he was at his peak, and it dies just as that peak starts becoming a memory. The circuit and the champion bound until the end, united in glory, and now united in farewell too. And if you too feel a lump in your throat at this story, leave a like right now and share it. Because what I'm about to tell you next makes it all even more moving and even more bitter. Because Verstappen knows it. He's understood it perfectly. And he's decided to turn this farewell into something unforgettable. For his last home race, he unveiled a helmet completely different from usual. He abandoned his classic orange and chose white and blue, a tribute to traditional Dutch ceramics, the famous Delft ware known around the world. A masterpiece with intricate flowers, ancient patterns, and his lion on top. A way of saying, I'm not just saying goodbye to a track. I'm saying goodbye to my country, my people, my history. And his people responded as always. The themed clothing line sold out in a flash. The grandstands will be packed to the last seat. There will be a wall of orange, there will be tears, there will be flags. It will be a celebration and a funeral at the same time. Because everyone deep down knows what's truly ending. But this is exactly where the poisonous question arises. The one nobody wants to face. Is Zandvoort really leaving only for financial reasons, as officially stated? Or is it leaving because without a winning Verstappen, that magic couldn't last? We were told the decision is purely economic, that the costs were too high, that it was better to stop at the right moment. And that's true in part. But there's a detail nobody wants to point out. The organizers admitted they wanted to close while they were on top, while the Orange Army still filled the stands. Support that, in their own words, could fade if the champion's performances declined. Translated, they decided to leave before the party ended on its own. Stop for a second and think about how harsh this really is. Basically, they built a celebration around one man and decided to turn off the lights right when that man started to slow down. It's the quietest and most brutal admission of all. Modern Zandvoort was Verstappen, and without a dominant Verstappen, there was no point continuing. And Max himself, with a maturity that's surprising, seems to have understood and accepted it. He's hinted that his fame alone can't sustain Dutch motorsport forever. No other local driver would guarantee those crowds. No other name would fill those grandstands. When he slows down or when he retires, that orange river risks running dry. And so, better to close now with one last embrace than to fade out slowly into emptiness. And now, think about what all this means for the future. Starting next year, Formula One will no longer have that race. No more wall of orange, no more colored smoke filling the sky above the dunes, no more that deafening roar at every pass by their hero. One of the most incredible atmospheres on the entire calendar, gone. And in its place, another circuit, another country, another story. But that magic born from one man and his people will never come back. Now, though, the floor is yours, and I really want to know. Do you think Zandvoort is leaving only for the money? Or is it the natural end of an era that couldn't survive without a dominant Verstappen? And do you think Max will manage to give his people one last miracle? A legendary victory in his very own farewell race? Or will we watch him say goodbye without the finale everyone dreams of? Write it in the comments. I want to read every one of your words. And before we say goodbye, one last thought. If you think this is truly the end of an unrepeatable era, hit the bell and stay with us because we'll bring you every single moment of this historic farewell. There's only one truth. For years, one man turned a small circuit by the sea into the beating heart of Formula One. He made an entire country fall in love with this sport. And now, as that castle closes its doors forever, one question remains hanging in the air, as simple as it is heartbreaking. What remains of an empire when the king bows his head and the greatest party of all fades away forever? Think about it, and then tell me.